Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you are on the globe. My name is Philip Fleeting. I'm from Oracle Construction Engineering, and I welcome you here at the studios of our partner Primaned, where we can share and explain a bit more about the usage case of Dura Vermeer, our customer here, also join us to talk about how they see and improve the way they manage projects overall. So in our studio, we have Dura Vermeer, Vincent Laging and Iman Karmi, and also Paul Vogels from our partner side, who is managing director from Primaned, based here in the Netherlands. Before we go into the real usage case, I'm happy to give you a quick introduction of who we are as Oracle Construction Engineering. I think the last years have been great excited as we have gone through large innovations and changes through different acquisitions and recently also Aconex. But if you really look into the market, what we see today, and we are already a long time in this industry. If you look to the statistics and also recent market studies also from McKinsey, we see still that in the past 3 years, only 1/3 of all projects, they came within 10% of their budgets, and it's just a quarter within 10 projects of their original deadlines. And it doesn't look like it's getting easier. Projects are getting more complex, complicated. 78% of engineering construction companies, they believe that project risks are increasing. And we all know the factors that make improving performance challenging. It's because most projects are quite unique. Essentially, we are building prototypes. We build locally. That means that team form and reform for each project takes time and efforts. And also we see that project stands a lot of on its own. So it's fragmented, decentralized, and decision-making and buying makes it more complicated. And that's also the vision we have as to how Oracle Smart Construction Platform is designed, is really to deliver performance and predictability and to continuously improve by delivering on these 3 core pillars here, what we specify. It's about connect, it's about empowering people, and it's about synchronizing. If you look firstly to connect, Oracle Smart Construction Platform is really connecting the dots. It's the owners and their delivery teams across all the processes and data. It's really focusing on enabling true collaboration and ensuring that each party has a fair and equitable data access and ownership. I think that's fundamental to work and improve the way people can work on projects. Each stakeholder owns its own data. And the information can be easily shared in a trusted and secured way. Secondly, it's about empowering people, and empowering people as team members are empowered with information and intelligence to make really proactive decisions and improve business processes. And the platform really empowers you to proactively make these decisions and also have that predictive intelligence. Machine learning algorithms are helping you to leverage that deep data, which is typically stored in that common data environment. And the third element is about synchronizing, and the platform is focusing on synchronizing activities, people, and resources throughout the project lifecycle. Activities in the field are automatically informed that through a schedule, activity network, and update milestones. Work in progress changes and happens. The intelligence of the platform really synchronizes across the supply chain, and it ensures that all parties can work together according to a central, unique project schedule. And to realize that vision, that's how we came to the Oracle Smart Construction Platform, which is an intelligent platform where both owners and delivery teams, contractors, they can work together. And that truly accelerates the performance across the life cycle of projects. It's built on Oracle technology. It's powered and based on years and decades of reputation and know-how we have built. Also the DNA, which is part of our construction engineering business unit, helps us to achieve that. And it's built on top of leading technologies like Primavera, like Unifier and Textura and Aconex. And the heart of that system is what we call the common data environment. It's built all these disciplines across the life cycle of projects, from scheduling, planning, from project cost control, from the payment management, from the portfolio capital planning, but also the design and construction coordination and inspections on the job site. We all bring this together in a centralized environment, and that's achieving them to connect, empower, and synchronize all that information. It gives an ROI, it's scalable and it's flexible. It's secure, it's built on top of Oracle's standards and a security first approach across computing, networking, and storage through our global data centers. And we continuously innovate, and that makes us also unique into the market. And I'm happy to also invite you to visit our website, or maybe if you have the opportunity to join us in the Oracle Industries Innovation Lab. We have built now 3 of them, started in the US. We have launched the one in Australia, and also now we're working on the one in the UK. So the whole idea is that we bring technology together, not only Oracle technology, but also through our ecosystem of partners. And we see that technologies like IoT and drones and augmented reality, artificial intelligence, machine learning, these are innovative technology that we bring into the core business process of construction projects. And the lab helps you to demonstrate what it could mean and bring to value for that. So if you have the opportunity, join us or have a look on our website. So I'm happy to pass the word to Paul Vogels from Primaned, and thank you for joining us and having this facility here available at your office.
Yeah, thank you very much, Philippe. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending. Vincent, Iman, for joining us in the Primaned studio. My name is Paul Vogels, Managing Director of Primaned. I'm going to talk a little bit about Primaned. And Primaned is an implementation partner for Oracle. If you have a small glance at our company name, you see the history of Primavera still in our DNA. But based on that software knowledge we have with Oracle and Primavera, we built on this project controls consulting firm. It's an international, it's a Dutch headquarters, but a more European consulting firm based on some education. We are the guest at the Primaned Academy, where we train people on software tooling, where we train people on network technologies, on theories, methodologies, etc. But always we believe in people, processes, and tooling. So within Primaned, we try to look at the process within your company of scheduling, of risk management, all those things Philippe mentioned earlier. Do a good software implementation. And with OPC, we did Oracle Primavera Cloud at Dura Vermeer, where we're going to talk about today. We are training people. Actually, we're training people today here in the office, and we have a very broad support services team. But all this is very focused on project controls. And project controls is, well, the insight we think from project data, where project managers and project executives are building projects. And based on that data, we try to steer the project. We try to make, well, delivering project insight into the data, where you can have actionable data, for example, to, well, deliver value at the end to the stakeholders. And the stakeholder can be an internal one, can be an external one. We're building for our customers, for example. But well, this project controls is based on a very strong theory, and every project manager we have within the department and within the industry has been told about time, scope, and cost, the golden triangle. But during the last couple of years or decades, even, there is a very strong focus into what we like to call PM Star, where we want to introduce risk and resources as a what we like to call knowledge area. So based on those primary knowledge areas, we try to develop our company, we try to develop our customers and our projects we are working on, and look at them over time. How are we communicating about time? And that's not just printing out the Gantt chart anymore, but there are more ways to communicate, to look at change, to look at claim, which is very important nowadays with a complex project landscape. So within this theoretical or knowledge area field. We try to help our customer on processes, on tooling, on knowledge at the end, and a long time customer, I think, is Dura Vermeer, where we are very happy to have them on board. And maybe a short introduction, Philippe. I give the word back to you as my co-host. Thank you very much for being here, everybody.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. So we are coming now to the core of this webcast, where we are pleased to have Dura Vermeer here joining us live, where they will share with you their journey on how they have adopted Oracle Primavera Cloud in order to improve and bring value to control of their project. So welcome, Vincent, and welcome, Iman.
Thank you, Philippe.
So could you introduce maybe quickly yourself and talk a bit about Dura Vermeer, your company, and your organization?
Yeah, so well, we're not part of this photo, but I still like this one very much. But I think it really embodies the spirit of our company as a family-owned company. My name is Vincent Laging. I'm the manager of the project controls department for Dura Vermeer national projects. So we'll see a little bit of the company structure on a later slide. Next to me is Iman Karimi.
Yeah, my name is Iman Karimi. I'm a project controls manager at Dura Vermeer, and I'm also at the same time the product owner of Oracle Primavera Cloud in our company.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So maybe a little bit about Dura Vermeer, family-owned Dutch company, founded in 1855. Well, the Dura side of it, the Vermeer side, was founded in the 1960s, and they merged a couple of decades ago into the Dura Vermeer group. We've got a couple divisions. The slide's in Dutch, but on the left side, we've got let's say the building and construction division. So there we're talking about utility builds, offices, but also just houses and renovation of houses and offices as well. That's the old Dura part. The Vermeer part was the infrastructure part. So then we're talking about asphalt and rail and that sort of infrastructure, motorways, but also more recently a lot of dike reinforcement projects. Of course, the Netherlands being below sea level with climate change ever pressing. We do a lot of work in that. And recently launched last year, really a division that bridges the world between those two, the technical installations division. So that's a division that focuses on the technical installations, both in buildings, but also in our infrastructure. We're talking about Internet of Things. I think we'll also see that in infrastructure, in bridges, in tunnels, a whole bunch of technical installation there. So really, we're building on that as well. The fourth one on the right side is more of the facility side of things. So that's where our cars and offices and buildings are in. But really the key part of the group are the building and construction and infrastructure with technical installations up and coming. Couple of figures real briefly. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can read our activity report for last year if you want to do a deep dive. But 1.6 billion in earnings last year. 2.8 billion in the order book, good solvability. Really, as a family-owned company, we've existed for 167 years now, and really the goal is to be there in another 167 years still. So that's really what we do. And again, as a family-owned company, we really focus on our people and our employees. We've got about 2,700 people, and you can see that our employee satisfaction is around 8. It was really good. Lots of happy people. We had the anniversary meetings last year. We had a whole bunch of people that were with us for 40 years already. So I think that's key to our success and what makes us quite unique, even in the Netherlands. That brings us these results as well. So I think that's very nice. And then, of course, maybe a couple of pictures of some of the work that we do. We're with the infrastructure division, and the infrastructure division is where we are implementing Primavera Cloud. So these are going to be infrastructure pictures, nothing else. But can't neglect the other side of the business. But obviously, our focus is more on this. So this is from we work in a couple of different value streams as an infrastructure company. We've got a lot of aging infrastructure in the Netherlands post-war. And we do a lot of renovation and renewals there. So, or actually even replacing infrastructure. So the previous slide was of the A12 bridges. that we're renovating. That's the project Iman's on currently. But we also build new infrastructure. This is one of the largest new infrastructure developments in the Netherlands, right here in Rotterdam, about a couple of kilometers down the road, where we're actually building a whole new section of motorway. We're using incremental launch methods here to build a new overpass. We're going to build a land tunnel here that's going to be energy neutral. It's really quite challenging, very interesting. One of the other ones that I really like this photo because it's with water ever present here in the Netherlands. We do a lot of water safety projects, and this is one in the south of the Netherlands. It was commissioned last year, actually, I think first quarter last year, and just in time, because if you remember, we had the massive floodings in Germany, France, Belgium last year summer, and all the news reports came in, and there was a dike breakthrough here and there, and there was nothing about this area, because actually we reinstated a whole section of the old River Maas to use as a water barrier, and as you can see here, it worked perfectly, and the lands around were safe. So really something to be proud of, I think. Very specific for our country, of course. Now we renovate bridges. We also renovate tunnels, and this is one we're working on now. And I put this picture in there because actually this is the project for which we did during the tender phase. Actually, is where we piloted OPC to test and see if it was worthwhile. And based on we actually won the tender because we used the lean module this was during COVID. We actually used that to get some better cooperation. Everyone working offsite, and I think really it speaks about the benefits that the software brought us as a company. We won the tender, and we're working on this project right now. I always like this picture just to, this speaks to the complexity of projects. This is in the old city center of Leiden, and just having a look at this picture, you can tell how important it is to have proper planning and scheduling up to the day level. So that's why I always like this one. It's been an older project, but still a really solid picture, I feel. Railway infrastructure, we do a lot there. This is in the Port of Rotterdam, the Theemsweg. This was commissioned last year as well. We put in place 2 new railway bridges across existing locks and an existing motorway. So again, really, Rotterdam, the busiest port in Europe. Again, you have to have solid planning and scheduling to get things right just in time. And finally, of course, with the energy transition, we do a lot of work in the energy sector. The foundations for these windmills, a bit more modern than the stereotypical Dutch windmills, I feel, but still largest onshore wind field in Europe. And we do the concrete foundations, but also the park roads and the cables and that sort of stuff. So that's also where we work in. And again, this also speaks to having a solid base in planning and scheduling, where if you start standardized processes, which is what OPC is good at, I think, as well. Well, if you can build one foundation, you can copy paste it to the other 90, and then it's quite an efficient way to start managing your project, I feel. And then finally, maybe the last slide, just a little bit about our department. Paul, you talked about the PM Star before. Planning and scheduling is one of the responsibilities of our department, but we also do the risk management. We do document control, QA/QC, that type of stuff. But really, it all speaks to the vision that we have as a department, that we are the co-pilot. I always use the metaphor of a rally driver who's going full speed ahead. That's the project, and he has a trusted advisor right next to him who says, 200 meters, hard left, second gear. And we feel with all the data, all the processes that we manage, is that we can be that co-pilot. We've got the data to advise our project management on how to steer, where to steer, when to shift gears when necessary. I think that's really what we want to do as a department. And for the planning and scheduling side, I feel that that's one of the key things. It all starts with a plan. We stick to the plan, and that's what helps us have projects in control, I think.
Okay, thanks. So, I mean, you mentioned a few of your projects. I think there are quite some complex, large projects like intersections or tunnels or bridges. But what do you see nowadays as your key challenges or opportunities in the industry, typically in the construction market, and also at Dura Vermeer? What is your main challenges you still see today in that?
Good question. Well, obviously, I think as a contractor, as a construction company, we face the same global challenges as anyone would have nowadays. So that's COVID, post-COVID, working together, collaborating, and you know, the changes that made to everything really. Of course, a lot of price inflation now due to the Ukraine war, which is really impacting our operations, energy, but also raw materials. It's really, you know, hiking up the prices there. So that's really a big challenge actually, that we as an industry face also in the Netherlands. A couple of Dutch specific things is just before COVID, we've had a big issue with PFAS, which are persistent organic pollutants in the soil. And if the concentration of those is too high, you can't actually move your soil around outside the project. So that, you know, as soon as you have to put a spade in the ground, it would grind the project to a halt. Okay. That's a very Dutch specific thing. And we've also got a big issue at the moment with nitrogen levels, which is even worse, because if the nitrogen is that we produce during the production of construction, during the construction phase, if those levels are too high, you won't get a permit to even start the project. And let's say the entire sketch designs as made by the government are put on hold right now. So that's a big impact on the market. A lot of upcoming projects, massive projects for the Dutch infrastructure are simply not starting. The tender phase is not starting. So that's really putting a big hit on your order book and on your future work, and that's a big uncertainty at the moment. That's also one of the reasons why we're focusing on renovation of existing infrastructure quite a bit more nowadays, because that's not a greenfield operation. So you're working with different parameters there. So we can manage that to a sense, but really to the construction market as a whole, it's an issue. For us specifically, as Dura Vermeer as a company, there's a few things that we see that we have to work with. First of all, due to the structuring of our group, we've got, you know, we build everything. Not to, I've shown pictures of motorways because they look great, but if you look at this slide, for example, we also build roundabouts. So when we're looking at a software solution and a process and a way of working, we've got to have something that's scalable from you know, the small weekend project to the multi-year spanning infrastructure works. We also work a lot with you know, different contractors and subcontractors in our work, and with the customer. That's really a thing that we're seeing in the Netherlands, at least. A lot of projects are now using two-phase construction methods, where in the first phase you actually work with your customer to do proper risk allocation before you go to a more traditional design and construct type project. So again, you want to have a collaborative platform really to do that. Also, we do a lot of line infrastructure projects. So let's say railways, but also on the motorways. A lot of it is really preparing before that one weekend that you can cordon off the entire road, and then you have to really take it all out and put something new in. So a lot of it is you know, standing still, and I'm running. That's a really specific infrastructure thing. And I think also the margins are very low compared to, let's say, infrastructure projects. We're working only off a couple of percent. So there's really not a lot of margin for error for a typical construction company. And we also see that a lot of our you know, the areas where we tend to lose money is time-related costs. So again, that speaks to proper planning and scheduling as well. So we're talking about overhead, the people, engineering costs, but also, you know, the site location and the fences around the site and that sort of stuff. That, you know, one day can mean the whole difference between writing black or red numbers, really.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think the digitization is key to support and improve where possible, because every penny helps to deliver projects on time and within budget. And Iman, you worked quite a long time in project controls already, and what are your thoughts and what you see as trends in digitization in construction projects from your side?
Yeah, as Vincent has explained, actually, if you look at the dynamic of projects, you see that many parties are involved in the projects that we do, especially actually the infrastructure projects. And as you see that there are different disciplines actually involved in each project. And what is very important is the integration actually between these disciplines. So you need to know that what are the interfaces between, for example, your engineering and your construction, and what is actually the flow of information between these parties. So it is really important, for example, if we are talking about the scheduling, to have integrated planning, to know that actually what are the interfaces. The next challenge that we have and the next trend is actually, as Vincent said, we are doing the projects with some of the other contractors or subcontractors. So you need to actually facilitate the collaboration between these parties, because the way of working is different, the needs and the interests are different. So you need to create actually a transparency to facilitate the collaboration to smoothly actually implement the project further. If you look at actually the latest trends of digitalization, what you need is in fact project insight. It means that actually you should be able to look through your disciplines. You need to know that actually what are the interfaces between these disciplines, what you expect from them. And at the same time, if you look at the organizational need for your departments, you need to have also insight in all of the projects that your department is busy with. For example, in this picture, if engineering department is busy with project A to C, you need to know that where you should actually put your resources, what are the challenges of each project. So looking through the projects for your department is also very important aspects. You have also showed actually in the previous slides that in fact actually you have 4 foundations for project control. You start actually from the standard and uniform methods and processes. This you have to be actually at place. If you have actually implemented the standard processes, then you go actually to tooling. You need to have a standard software, and there are one source of truth that you need for example, scheduling actually all of your projects. And if you have implemented actually the first 2 foundations, the next step is to train the people, train the professionals that you have, to have skilled professionals to be able actually to do the job. So because people define actually the results at the end, and it is very important to train them. Only if actually the first 3 foundations have been in place successfully, then you can actually create the data. You can actually then, for example, have all of your schedules in one platform, and on the basis of that, create the data history for your dashboarding, for making KPIs or PPIs actually for your project, to have more insight about your project. So having actually these 4 foundations is the basis actually for the digitalization in the last years.
Okay, thanks, Iman, for your clarification on that. And Vincent, I mean, we talked in the past regularly on that, but I mean, what drive you actually or what did you give you the insight that something needs to happen in your company, and what was actually needed to an integral and improved project control solution? I mean, what were typically the business drivers for you to decide we need to do something here?
So there were a couple of things at play here. First of all, we really didn't have all that much planning and scheduling knowledge in house at the time when I joined the company. So that was really the start of a push towards more knowledge about that. Really, on the technical side, we were working on an older P6 standalone database. So if you want to go towards an integrated project control solution, we really needed to get with the times. So that was a really simple reason to start looking at something new. And also on the company side, we had a larger digitalization program running within Dura Vermeer. So we're looking at let's say new digital projects, products and services to complement our existing activities. We wanted to look at digitalization of our core processes, the primary process of actually, designing, building, and maintaining a construction project. And of course, as soon as you dive into that, you see that there's a whole bunch of data available in all the different systems that you have and that you want to use as a solid foundation to get those data-driven decisions and to really to make the decisions that are worthwhile with a solid foundation based on what you do and what you know. So at the time we were going through a sort of a rationalization process with IBM that was looking at all the data in our enterprise application landscape. And one of the key sections in that was planning. You know, what sort of information is in there? It's activities, it's start date, finish dates, where does the data come from, who's the master, who's the author, the consumer. So that sort of rationalization is what we were looking at. And also what are sort of the integrations that you're looking for there on the technical side. And then on the, of course, in parallel, we're really looking at the user as well, because you know, we want to make it easy for them, and we call it the happy customer. And the happy customer is not just the external customer, of course, also our internal customer, our colleagues that have to work with this stuff on a day-to-day basis, and just and as with any change, you know, it all starts with the desire to change. And if you don't have a happy customer, it's going to be a very, very tough way to get new things going. Also, we're looking at, you know, making our new processes and our building process efficient and fast, and that was a key factor here. And as a company, we want to be, let's say, the digital pioneer. So we're also looking for digitalization opportunities, see what we can do. And I'm very happy to say that with OPC, we're really making grounds here. As you know, we're the first construction company in the Netherlands to use it. I'm very proud of that we're willing to take that risk. I strongly believe in it, and I'm really happy that we made that choice. I always like this slide that you can see right now about where we started. I think anyone who's worked in a construction project can recognize this. So we all work with plans and schedules in some way or another, whether it's planning your staff, planning your daily activities, or planning an entire construction project from the start to finish milestone. There's a whole bunch of different stuff going on within a project. And we actually went round one of our larger projects and just took pictures of all the different plans and schedules that we could find. And you can see here, you know, how is all of this connected? It's not, you know, it's all pieces of paper on the wall, and there is a connection there somehow, but how do we manage that? And that really, this was the key argument to actually go towards an integrated planning solution. On the plus side, I'm very happy also that our director for the infrastructure division used to work with P6 himself, so I'm sure he felt some of that pain and relived some of these memories here. That helps a lot. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, it really speaks towards getting towards that single source of truth. You know, what's the schedule that we're working on? Where are we now? What decisions do we need to make to get to that milestone? So we really needed to bring it all together. So, you know, we ended up with the piece with a Primavera solution as the core center for the scheduling part of the landscape, and ultimately we decided on OPC, and we want to you know, connect that to our different project controls, the other software packages that we use. So we use Relatix for our system engineering, we use Maticom cost control for our cost. SharePoint, of course, for document control, and then Synchro for our 4D scheduling. So those were sort of the steps that we went through in you know, actually getting where we are now.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that. So OPC, for the audience here joining the webinar, it stands for Oracle Primavera Cloud. So we use quite a lot of these short three-letter words like P6, OPC. So Iman, actually, what was actually the planned approach to implement the solution, and how did that work? Could you a bit clarify on that?
Yeah, of course. Actually, we have chosen for Agile Scrum method. So it's a well-known method actually for implementation of the softwares. And as Vincent said, now happy customer, happy end user is really important for us. So we have actually formed the teams from our operations as a review team. We have talked with them about the user stories, what they want actually to get actually back from the software, what are the expectations actually from operations, and then at the same time we have actually took a look at the technical part, what we want actually to do with our planning. And we have implemented this method, so you can actually at Agile Scrum choose for the shorter sprints, 1 to 4 weekly, and we have chosen actually for 4 weekly. At the beginning of the sprint, you start with the list of the user stories, you go with your development team. We are also very lucky that we have really expert development team from Primaned and from our own company, from the operations, so we know that what are we working on. And we choose actually the user stories that at each sprint we are going to develop it. At the end of the sprint, we review them based on the requirements that in advance have been defined for a minimum viable product, this MVP, that it says that actually what should your product fits to be actually able to be acceptable for the business. We check actually the sprint, we go back, what can we do actually the next time better, and with this way you have a good collaboration actually with the operations. You have fast results, so you see actually the results and achievements, and it is very good to encourage the people, encourage the business to take the further steps. So this is actually the way that we have implemented up to now, and at the end of each sprint, step by step, you come actually to the next product that you have. At this moment, actually, we have with Oracle Primavera Cloud, you can do a lot, so that should be said. But first thing first, for us, we are focused actually on the planning and the scheduling. That is actually the core elements that we have up to now implemented in the company. So it means that you can make your scheduling, Gantt chart, your work breakdown structure. And at the same time, we have also implemented the tasks app. That is actually the lean planning, the tasks that you can plan per day to make actually more level of detail in your planning. And we are also working for the next step on our resource analysis, the Monte Carlo analysis, that if you have your risk management actually in place, you have the list of risks on your schedule, you can actually couple the risk and the activities and see the impact of the risk in case that they will happen to your schedule. That is actually the next step that we are going to implement. What is also very important is that at the beginning of the implementation, we have defined a roadmap. At this roadmap, we start with the pilots. We need to start with the pilots, with the project teams. We are going to train them because it is very important to have a skilled professional to use the software. At the same time, we are listening to them. What are the expectations? Is the software working or not? Are there lessons learned or new actually user stories that we need to implement? And we go back actually to the development team. We develop the new user stories. We adjust the work instructions or what is needed. And the next step for us, and that we are actually at this moment busy with it also today actually at Primaned, we are training our key users. These are actually the key users from different divisions that we have, that they are going to further take the software to their own division. We are planning to go live somewhere in September, and in fact we are ready for that. Okay.
Any specific results, Vincent, Timon, you would like to share or feedback so far?
Well, I know Paul always likes the story about the pilot phase when we were still testing whether OPC was a solution or not. And we only got a couple of licenses, and I was doing a very small tender for a small water storage area. And we were, I think it was the night before we had to submit our proposal and our cost and budget and everything. And I got a text message at 11 p.m. Yeah, we changed the working method, and we've also fine-tuned some of these risks. And can you rerun the Monte Carlo analysis? And I was getting ready for bed. So no, I was in the bathroom with my toothbrush in my hand. So I grabbed my iPad, logged on to OPC, changed the things on my iPad, set it to run. So it was calculating in the background. I brushed my teeth. When I was done, it was done with the Monte Carlo. I took a screenshot with my iPad of the new results, pushed it in an email with some quick notes, and I went to bed. And then next morning, it ended up in the final document that we delivered for submission. So I think that's also again a small anecdote, but really cool and talks to actually that how far we've come from the big schedule on the wall with the little piece of string and the nut attached to the bottom of it. to actually doing this sort of stuff on the fly on your iPad.
And I think
really cool.
to add to that, for the people without context to Primavera risk analysis, which is the I'm not going to say old fashioned, but it's a more traditional way. It took a little bit more time. So with this new Oracle technology, but based on the same theoretical approach, and when your process is in place and your tools are operating for you, well, you can run a Monte Carlo while brushing your teeth. And my dentist always says it takes 2 minutes. So that's the time you can do your Monte Carlo analysis.
Lovely, great. So, I mean, Paul, I mean, you've been working in that space as a partner consultancy firm since 20 years, 25 years. I mean, what is your experience and what do you see as the benefits of an integrated solution, Primavera Cloud?
Yeah, I think when you play back time, a Primavera P6 is the best scheduling tool. Oracle Primavera Risk Analysis is a very strong Monte Carlo analysis tool with the Oracle stack, which is building for the last 20 years. Now, well, taking that IP, taking that theoretical approach into a new modern cloud-based technology with the capabilities, with the power of the computing systems to do this in an integral way, single source of truth. I think this opens up a lot of opportunities. People, I think in one of the first slides is everything is integrated to each other. You talked about very small margins. So if a risk occurs and you didn't mitigate it in time, it can burn your complete margin in one strike. If that's not connected to a schedule or to your resource management plan, I think that's the overall capabilities with Oracle Primavera Cloud, but also with the other solutions in the construction engineering stack, as Oracle wants to call them. For example, with Equinix or cloud intelligence platforms, it gives you a complete insight because I always like to say resource management, for example, is only one way to do it. It's like the complete way. You can't do one department resource management because one critical resource can throw away a complete schedule. One critical risk can throw away a complete schedule. So yeah, with this cloud technology and maybe Corona helped us a little bit to work from different spaces, from offices, from homes, etc., to one way of working in one central source of truth. It's really opening up opportunities for construction companies, for real estate companies, but also from, well, we talked about linear assets, our power grid, our rail assets, our airports, etc. I think this is a very strong solution Oracle built.
Thank you, Paul. I think one last question I would like to share to the three of you here is, I mean, we as Oracle, we try to continuously innovate, modernize our technology and our products, our solutions, make it more easy, agile to use it in that complex market, which is project controls across all the disciplines. Does it make it easier, and why does it make it easier than before to use these emerging technologies in project controls?
If I can go the first try, I think also with Scrum methodology, you deliver results very quickly. User interfaces, user experiences get more easy to get acquainted to. It's still a people, processes, and tools point of view. Like Iman told us, you need to train your professionals. If you have the right tool on the right way implemented, then this co-pilot can steer you. Maybe he's not the best driver, but he's the best analysis to give the driver in the best sweet spot. And you need to trust each other blindly and be integrated blindly, because if the co-pilot says 200 meters right turn, the driver just assumes there's a right turn, and he will try to steer it. So I think with modern technology, modern way of implementing, I'm trained as a waterfall implementation expert 15 years ago. That doesn't work anymore. The industry is quickly moving. The people are getting more intelligent, more quickly adopted to new solutions. I think with that threesome in place, you have better results quicker to the stakeholders, and I think colleagues are internally a very big stakeholder.
Certainly.
Yeah, if I can add something to that, is that if what you see at Oracle Primavera Cloud is that for professional version of Primavera P6, you really need to be an experienced planner to find your way. But with OPC, it is really easy to plan, and it is what you needed, what you need actually to encourage people to start using the planning, because you are not, the planning is not a goal. Usage of the planning for managing your project is a goal. And with making the things simpler for your audience, it will also be used more. So it is the cloud system I found is really easy to use, and that is what encourages people to commit to the planning and use the planning more.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I've one final point to share. I think you have happy employees, you have happy customers now. We have a happy partner and also a happy customer. So I would like to thank you, Vincent and Iman, for joining us and sharing your story and experiences here. And thank you also, Paul from Primaned to support us and helping Dura Vermeer in their journey. I'm looking really forward to build these next steps jointly with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for the audience joining us. This webcast will be recorded and will be posted afterwards on the website. So any questions, you can still find our way back to reach us. Thank you a lot. Bye-bye.